Welcome to the second annual traditional Solfest community musical. This year, the theme, as you can see from the backdrop, I'm not pointing at the drummer, is the ash tree. The story is all about Heart of Ash, and we have the fantastic storyteller Daniel Serridge standing back here, who is going to take us on a journey through a number of different things all around how Aspatria got its name and all kinds of manner of things. There are lots of very easy songs that you can join in with, and it will make us very happy if you did join in with them. So if you've got a song sheet, can you wave it in the air so we can see you? Hey! So it's dead easy. Just sing along and we'll see you at the other side. The scene is set with a traditional Solfest anthem written by Simon Kay, which I'm sure you all know anyway.
The blaze across Scotland is flooding the night. It's all going wrong and it's all going right. In the place where you earned your name. In Workington, Whitehaven, Cockermouth Town, the sun's coming up and the rain's coming down. You may move away, but you'll keep coming round to the place where you earned your name.
Everybody!
So, many years ago, before the land that you now sit on was Solfest, and way before, it was Cumbria, it was farmland just as it is now. And running that farm was an old man called Old Patrick. And Old Patrick harvested the land and looked after it as much as he could. And he had 3 beautiful children. He had 2 sons and a daughter. But the problem was, His two sons, they weren't the nicest people in the world, but he tried to treat them as best he could. And you see, each and every Midsummer's Eve, they'd all go up to the 3 ash trees in that field. And they'd lay marigolds at their base to say thank you for all their hard work, for this was in the days when trees were very powerful. And they looked after the land, and they looked after the people, and they cared for everybody who lived there, and it was very important to honor them. And they would lay the marigolds, and they'd watch the sun set over the horizon, and they'd know that their next year's harvest was going to be good. Now, of course, old Patrick has got the name Old Patrick for a reason. He was old. And it wasn't long before he passed away. I know. Sad times. But don't worry. And what he did was he passed his land onto his eldest son. The eldest son that isn't particularly nice. And I think he deserves a very big boo. There he is. And his eldest son inherited all the land. And the youngest son and the daughter, well, they got nothing. I know. Well, the whole year went past, and the eldest son took as much as he possibly could from that land. He took all the money and all the wealth, and he put it and he lined his pockets. But at the end of the year, the lovely daughter, she went up to make the journey to the 3 ash trees and lay marigolds at the roots. But when she did, the eldest son, he saw her on his land, and he went up to her and he said, "Hey, you, this is my land, and I belong, and it belongs to me, and I don't want you being on this land anymore. Get off." And in fact, in the morning, when the sun rises over the horizon, I'm going to come down and I am going to chop one of these ash trees down because it means nothing to me. And you know, the very next day, as soon as the first sliver of light came up on the horizon, he went off to chop it down. And once the eldest son reached that ash tree, he took his axe and he began to chop, chop, chop. And he was cutting through the great trunk of the ash tree until it began to fall to earth. But the thing is, as it did, it screamed into the north wind, and the north wind heard its call and lifted the trunk of the tree high into the air, as high as you could ever possibly imagine, and it brought it down, crashing onto the head of the eldest son, killing him straight away. And so that was the end of him. And the tree was carried away by many minions in the village, taken away to the forest, and so was the eldest brother. And the tree, of course, was dragged hard and fast back to the village where they lived.
Elesada, Elesa, Elesada, Elesa, Elesada, Elesa, Elesada, Elesa,
And now, with the eldest brother gone, all the land got passed to the next brother in line, a brother that was meaner and more vicious than his older. That's right. And the year passed, and he worked that land as hard as he could so that he could line his pockets with as much money as he could feasibly manage. He was rich, and that made him more mean. Well, as the year passed, the little girl, the daughter, well, she worked as hard as she could on her very little of nothing. But when the Midsummer's Eve came, she went up that hill to see the two green ladies that now still sat on top of that hill, and she started to lay the marigolds at its roots. But looking through the window was the middle brother, the youngest brother, and he stomped up that hill and he said to her, he said, "Hey, you! This is my land, and you are not allowed on it. And in fact, in the morning, because these trees, they don't mean anything to me, it's an old wives' tale, I'm going to come and I'm going to chop down this ash tree." Well, in the morning, as the first slivers of light arrived on the horizon, that youngest brother set off with his axe in hand. Well, as the eldest brother stood by the ash tree, he began to chop it down with his axe. And he swung his axe as hard as he could, bit by bit by bit by bit, until eventually the trunk began to fall down to the floor. But as it did, it screamed into the north wind, and the north wind, thank you, the north wind heard the tree's call and whipped it up into a storm, into the air, and then brought it crashing back down on the youngest brother's head. Killing him outright. Well, in the morning, the local villagers, they came and they took that tree away. And they also took the youngest brother away. And they took that tree and dragged it back to the village. And you see, the two brothers, for chopping down that tree, they truly had reaped what they had sown. And now, with her 2 brothers long gone, the youngest daughter, well, she was destroyed, even though they hadn't been particularly good, even though they'd been mean brothers and they hadn't looked after their father's land. She still missed them, and she still cared for them, and she was sad to see them go. So sad, in fact, that the grief was too much, it was too strong, and she could no longer live on that farm. So she ran. And she ran as fast as she could, as far as she could, away from the memories and away from the pain. Until eventually she descended deep, far down into the mists across Cumbria, the mists across the moorland. And there, while she was surrounded by the mist, she could start to hear these strange and mysterious bells.
Patrick's ash is a spear tree. Patrick's ash is a spear tree. Patrick's ash is a spear
And as she moved through the mist,
Patrick's ash is a spear
it was as if she had descended into another world. It was as if she'd been lost, lost in this misty moorland. And these bells, they sent her swirling further and further into this strange dream. But then, as she listened through the bells, she could hear this message, a message of Patrick's ash is a spear tree. The final ash tree was a spear tree, as some spears, they're made from ash wood, and that made it very, very special indeed. And she knew that she needed to get back to the farm and finish what her father had started. So she returned to the farm. And although it was hard and although it was difficult, she saw that one ash tree still stood on the hill, and she knew it was important. Somebody or something had told her. And she decided to name that land, to name that place Patrick's Ash. Or in other words, Ash Patrick. In other words, Aspatria, which is just down the road. And Aspatria was born. And that girl, well, she tended for the land and she looked after it and she cared for it. And she slowly started to grow more and more ashes. More and more. And she decided that what that place really needed was a beautiful ash grove. Girl, she worked on the farm and she built the ash grove up, and it became a bit of a beacon for people, the people of Espatria. It became a place for people to gather, for people to fall together and enjoy themselves, and dance, and celebrate, and sing and party. And this girl became a really important figure in that town, in this place, and the Ash Grove became an important place to gather. It wasn't long before the people, the local musicians, they gathered, the people who had taken away the other two ash trees and brought them. They hadn't taken them away and got rid of them, they'd taken them away and turned them into beautiful ukuleles. And in that ash grove, as well as the people that have whittled those two ash trees into ukuleles, they all gathered and they were joined by other musicians in that town, in this town. They were joined by some drummers. And the drummers and the ukulele players, they came together, and probably what they did was something very similar to what Dave is about to talk you through.
So the whole community, in celebration, got to their feet. That's your cue. And they decided to dance the traditional dance that they always did at this time, which was to find someone that they knew quite well and get them into a ballroom hold. So just find someone you know quite well, get them into a ballroom hold. We're going to dance the heel and toe polka very, very easily. So the direction of the pointy hand, you're just going to go heel, toe, heel, toe. Try that after 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Heel, toe, heel, toe. Brilliant. After you've done that, you're going to gallop 4 paces. So you're going to go heel, toe, and then gallop 2, 3, 4, and then turn the other way. Then you're going to do the same thing the other way. You ready? After 4. 1, 2, 3, and heel, toe, gallop back to where you were. Brilliant. Then face your partner and offer them your right hand and clap that hand right 3 times. So 3 times together. Clap, clap, clap. And then the left hand 3 times. Clap, clap, clap. Brilliant. And then your thighs or their thighs, depending on how well you know them, 3 times. Clap, clap, clap. And then both hands together 3 times. Clap, clap, clap. And then you're going to swing your partner around. And then ready to go again wherever you are. So here we go after 4, 2, 1, 2, 3, and heel, toe, gallop 2, 3, and turn. Heel, toe, back to your place and face. Clap, clap, clap. Left, left, left. Thighs, thighs, thighs. Together, 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 and swing. Heel, toe. And back where you're at. Clap and light. Left, left, left. Thighs, thighs, thighs. Together, 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 and swing. Well done, everybody. Thank you for joining in the Solfest Community Musical 2013. A huge round of applause, please, for Boomdang! And our choir on stage. And all of the people that came along to the workshops and learned the songs and learned to play the ukulele. And all of our storytellers and actors. And all of our musicians. And all of you. Thank you, Solfest.